Tonight, as part of our ongoing series on post 9/11 veterans, Frontline to Homefront, we're taking a look at a decades-old organization called AMVETS. Their mission, service to America's bravest warriors, including those suffering from debilitating spinal cord injuries and post-war stress. Joining me to talk with all about that and what they do, Marine Corps veteran Sherman Gillums, who's the outreach director of AMVETS, and former Air Force combat nurse and newly appointed chief medical executive of AMVETS HEAL program, Sharisa Jackson. It's nice to have the both of you here with us today. I want to talk about both of your experiences in a moment and how that informs what you do. But let's talk about AMVETS first. And, all right, Sherman, let me ask you, more than 70 years old, what was the idea behind it when it was first created, and what does it do now?
The organization was born from the idea that when veterans come home and attempt to reintegrate into society, they're often misunderstood and often underserved by even a well-intentioned government. And they became their own advocates by forming organizations after World War II so that they could have those grassroots efforts to get laws changed. Their voice is respected, en masse. So the AMVETS, which stands for American Veterans, it's really a place, an identity that a veteran can join and wrap his or her self around and be part of the effort to ensure that our laws, that the medical care, that the benefits are administered properly, and that veterans can return to some semblance of wholeness after returning from war in places like that. So we've been doing that mission for 75 years. And it's evolved over time, of course, just like veterans have evolved. But the idea is to always pay attention to how society is receiving these folks. Are they getting jobs? Today we talk about, the suicide problem, of course, but we have to find ways to stay on top of our nation's defenders so that tomorrow's generation see that, they're going to be taken care of.
Right. Let me ask both of you quickly about your own experiences in the military. Sharisa, I'll come to you first. And how it positioned you to say, this is what I want to do now with myself.
Absolutely. I retired after 23 years in the Air Force, and I knew after I left I wanted to be an advocate. I knew I wanted to speak for the voiceless, those veterans suffering from PTS, and I knew in order to do that, I wanted to align myself in an organization that was about advocacy, and that is what AMVET does. And it was a privilege to be asked to be the chief medical executive for their HEAL program, because
and I'm going to talk with you in a minute about the HEAL program.
Absolutely.
Exactly what it does.
Absolutely.
It's like a fabulous group. And Sherman, your involvement, as I said, a Marine, seriously injured in an accident while you were on duty. And tell me how that has directed you.
I think the best advocates are born from experiences that reflect those for whom you advocate. So when I was a veteran in need, seriously injured, an organization stepped in and did its work. It helped me, again, regain an identity. The services, the benefits, all those things were facilitated for me so I could just focus on rehab. And I wanted to return the favor to others who had had the similar experience of waking up one day and either whether it's a bomb that went off or a sniper's bullet, they need somebody to come in who can identify with the experience and then speak for those people on Capitol Hill and in media. So that's the mantle I took up. That's what I wanted to do with my life after service, and that's what brought me here.
Let's talk about that HEAL program, all right? HEAL, Healthcare, Evaluation, Advocacy, and Legislation. Talk about the program, how it got started, and what you're hoping to do with it.
Well, Sherman brought me on as the chief medical executive for the program, and usually when veterans come to us, it's usually the last resort. And so our idea is to heal that problem so it wouldn't escalate to suicide and things of that nature. So the goal of the HEAL program is to provide as many resources to advocate for them to foster change so these veterans can get the resources that they need and not have to, end up having a suicide attempt and things of that nature.
How are you reaching out? How are you getting veterans not just to know where you are, but to be comfortable so that they say, this isn't a weakness on my part looking for help. It's a strength to look for help. How are you doing that?
The first thing we had to do was understand that's the problem. You have to be proactive. You can't wait until, as Sharisa said, a veteran's in crisis to intervene. There are things that predictably lead to crisis and suicide attempts. If you can help them with their financial hardship, if you can help them access health care and not be so frustrated by the system that they give up. So we have to go where they go. We have to we reach out on social media. We do a lot of that. We look for people we can help just by the things that tell us there's something going on. And of course, we do shows in media. We talk about the problems on Capitol Hill. So we try to be as visible so that somebody who sees what we're doing keeps us top of mind when bad things start to happen. So we get a lot of referrals from people who have been helped by the program. So it's been a sort of organically grown effort, starting with us continuing to understand how these problems evolve, how they happen. We talked about a case this morning, a young lady, Iraq War veteran, who's in financial hardship because of an injury that required her to take time off from work. And all she needs is a little help. Just give me that one step. That's all I'm asking for, and we can do that. So we have to look for the problem. And in many cases, they do find us because, as Teresa said, they've tried the other programs, and it just didn't work out.
What are you doing to reach out and to provide programs for women right now, women veterans?
One of the things that we're doing is we're having focus groups where we're actually having these women come and tell us their story so we can understand what we need to do to advocate for them. And by doing that, they feel comfortable. They're allowing us to help them because we understand them. They hear me talk about my experience with PTSD. They hear me talk about my hopelessness when I was going through it. I talk about my loneliness going through it. So I'm relating to them.
It's a personal connection.
It's a personal connection. It's
someone who
allowing
looks
them
like
to
me, who
relate.
sounds like me, who had the same experiences that I had.
Exactly. And that makes them open up and say, man, someone really cares.
Last question for you. There's so much the group does, and we could spend days talking about it. But if we have some viewers here who are watching this conversation, and either the person is a veteran themselves, or have family members of veteran, or a friend who's a veteran who says, you know what, I think I, or my friend, or my family member could use this help. They need something. What do you want them to do? How do they get to you all to get that help?
The easiest way is to find us in social media at AMVETS HQ. I'm really active. I'm always interacting with folks to teach them more about the processes and everything. AMVETS.org is our website. 833-VET-HEAL is the phone number where they can access the HEAL program. But I'm visible. They can find us talking about what we're doing on Capitol Hill, what we're doing in media, what we're doing just to make life better for veterans with the greatest needs.
Hopefully we can drive some people to you. So we first of all thank you both for your service, and we certainly thank you for continuing that service. It's a marvelous organization. It's said 70 plus years, have helped so many veterans in those years, and so important what it's doing now, post 9/11 veterans. So our thanks to the organization, our thanks to both of you for spending some time with us. You both be well.
Thank you.
And a reminder for you, for more information on AMVETS and how you can help them or use their services, make sure you visit us at metrofocus.org.